What's happening, online community, sports community? We are back for another fire episode. This is Sports Therapy, where good conversations meet great athletes. I still got it here, brother. I still got it. We're back, man, for another fire, amazing, I would say, intimate episode. This episode will probably be a little different. And the reason why I say that is because going back to May is Mental Health Awareness Month. But I just believe mental health should be an everyday thing. Wouldn't you agree?
No doubt, for sure.
But without further ado, it's your guy Willie Beeman back in the building. But the guy to my left, introduce yourself, brother.
It's your boy T in the building.
We back,
baby. Like we never left.
I was getting ready to say that.
We right here, baby. We
back, baby, like we never left. But yeah, like I said a few minutes ago, this show is going to be a little different, man. We're going to dive deep. We're going to hit on some hard topics that I believe us as African American black men should be discussing, should be aware of, and should be working towards being better in. So, like I mentioned earlier, Mental Health Awareness Month was back in May. Mental health is a everyday thing, something that we should be taking care of every single day. So important. So, like I mentioned on the last show, I'm gonna do this on every show, kind of set the tone, give us an icebreaker question. And so my icebreaker for you, bro, is in regards to mental health. What are some things that you do practically and spiritually to make sure that Montez is mentally sharp?
One of the things that I had to learn how to do, and it's gonna sound so elementary, but was talk to people. Because as a man, so oftentimes we just keep dealing with it.
True.
And do what we got to do to make it past whatever situation, and not actually reach out to people and let you know how you feel. So if somebody in the house is ticking you off, or something that they do is ticking you off, making you, want to act out of character, you might want to say something before you have that mental breakdown.
Yeah.
The same thing goes even with work. Like if there's something you have an issue with, I know they say, oh, well, come to me if you need something. Come to me if there's an issue. Take advantage of that and actually say something instead of sitting there stewing in it. And then, like me, I hold on to it. And not only am I building up from being mad at you, I can build up from being mad at Troy. And now the person at the supermarket gets you because I didn't just tell y'all I had an issue with you.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's well said. Well said, brother. For me, I would probably say, kind of going back to what you were saying, man. I think we're similar in some ways, man.
Okay.
Cool, calm, and laid back eyes, and so when that person presses that button, we can just pop out and explode, man. So
it's gonna take a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I just had paper and plastic, bro. What you doing? What's going on?
Exactly. So I would say the same thing, man. And being more conscious and being more bold and courageous and opening up more.
You gotta be open.
Yeah, and sharing my vulnerability, sharing my transparencies.
It don't make you soft.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a show recently, 30 Minutes with Perry, Jackie Hill Perry in Preston.
Okay.
He was talking about how he saw one of his friends, CD. He said he's a big guy, and there was another friend, that guy was a big guy as well. And he said when he saw them embrace each other, with these hugs, it kind of shook him or took him for a loop because he really didn't see that growing up.
Right.
I mean, you won't see too many black men hugging each other like that. We'll try to give a dab, say what's up.
Get a little half joint.
Yeah, half joint.
You're not out here fool.
Yeah.
Nah, ain't doing it.
Yeah, so he said when he saw that, man, he was like, wow, that kind of shifted my mind in regards to how black men operate when it comes to loving one another, embracing one another. We get this stigma of it, us being soft, or weak, which I think is the opposite, man. It shows that we can still have our masculinity but at the same time show love, one another too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but let's pivot, man. Let's go and get into this first topic, man. Go and kick us off, Big T. Give us some context, and I'll kind of share, what I had in regards to this Gary Brooks senior and junior story.
All right, so our first topic comes from actually a Ryan Clark interview with his good friend and brother, Greg Brooks Jr.
Yeah.
Or Greg Brooks, I'm sorry, and then his son, Greg Brooks Jr., who actually he had issues with an injury in college, and he was actually playing through it, and didn't know that there was a real issue. He kept telling people with the coaching staff, and nobody was really hearing him out until they, almost got too bad. So that's where we're going to be coming from today.
Gotcha. Uh, I'll kind of give some a little bit more context on what I have over here in regards to what Montez mentioned. Guy who played for LSU, well known in college. A lot of great athletes that came out of LSU.
Oh, for sure.
Man, the list is long, man. Yeah, lineup is crazy.
Yeah.
That'll be for another time, but just kind of give you guys the context. Brooks first began complaining of headaches and dizziness on August 5th, 2023, and vomiting in front of teammates and coaches at this time. LSU's medical team first mistakenly diagnosed him with vertigo and heat exhaustion without seeing a doctor. Dr. Shaw then saw Brooks briefly after practice that day, but I have this highlighted, failed to do any type of detailed examination, the lawsuit states. And so to me, man, I think it's very, very important to make sure that we are cautious and aware of what's going on with these players, man, especially when it comes to game of football. We know it is a physical contact sport, man, and people can get hurt left and right. And so the fact that they fail to do any type of detailed examination shows that they don't really value these players as they should.
Right.
Looking at them as if they're just a token, just to win a game or win the championship or whatever the case may be.
Give me
Not
a chip.
really, yeah, not really valuing them as human beings, not really valuing them, knowing that they still have families to go back to and to provide for those families or to make it to from college to the NFL. And so I think that's a very, very intriguing thing, knowing that they failed to do something like that. Give you guys some more context. Brooks kept practicing and complaining of the above symptoms for several more days without seeing a doctor through August the 11th. This is in 2023. And Stanley, a trainer, not a doctor, diagnosed Brooks again with vertigo via an app on his phone and cleared him to practice without getting Brooks to a doctor.
Hey, WebMD will get you in trouble.
Man.
WebMD, man, it'll steer you the wrong way.
Yes, bro.
Gotta be very good. That's crazy.
Based on what I just said, man, what's your take on kind of what I just shared, knowing that, there's no detailed examination, they're using apps on their phone.
Somebody need their license revoked.
So,
Exactly.
I was, I guess, looking into the situation. They said that the coach actually had a history of being negligent when it came to players.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, you never know. Like, you have people's kids' lives in your hands.
Yeah.
And their whole life can change because you were negligent.
You were negligent.
So it's just like, ooh, that's crazy. And then shout out to him for even coming forward with it. But we definitely got to do a better job in doing our job when it comes to medical staffing.
Yeah.
Like, that's not nothing to play with. That's why you need all the licenses and degrees and things like that, because it's such a detrimental part of your life.
Yeah.
It's keeping you alive.
Exactly.
So we need to cross every T,
not every time, please.
so that I can know what's going on and we can attack things ahead of time before they do get to this point.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Yeah, our health is very, very important, man, because when it comes to football players, man, or leaving college going to the pros, a lot of them don't even have, I guess, long seasons in sync because of it being a contact sport. And so there's only so many years that you're going to allow your body mentally and emotionally to go through that, every week, man, every Sunday night or every Thursday night, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's very important, man, that the medical staff is on point with these players, not looking at them as, puppets, controlling the string behind the scenes, doing what they want to do, and not being locked in health wise. And so I think that's very, very important.
I feel like with as much money as the school draws in,
Yes.
and as much money as they're able to pay the staff, I feel like somebody should be able to look in and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
There's too much money on the table. Everything can't just go to the top. We got to spend some money on what's keeping us going.
Yes.
What's bringing the money in, because boosters help.
Yeah.
And you ain't getting a booster. So,
Facts. Some more context. Despite those symptoms often continuing, Brooks Jr. was cleared to play in LSU's first two games of the season on September 3rd and 9th, before LSU finally made a September 13th appointment for him with a neurologist who ordered an MRI test. The cancer was then discovered. LSU and the family were notified on September 14th, and LSU rushed him into surgery at its Our Lady of the Lake partner on September 15th. During the surgery, Brooks Jr. suffered multiple strokes due to the acts of malpractice, which are being addressed in the medical review panel preceding lawsuit states. Once again, not having uh, the awareness. Once again, not diagnosing people correctly. And we see it all the time, man, not just in the sense of this story, but I think even in our own families and our own families' lives that's going through different things medically as well. I can speak on behalf of my wife Tamika, and what she's going through with her family and her father. All the different doctor visits, the misdiagnosis of schizophrenia, the misdiagnosis of dementia, all these different things that he's never had. And just yeah, it's just crazy to me. I mean, how doctors can treat certain people that are trying to get over it. I know it's been a mental effect heavy, on not only him but the family as well. So for you, man, has there been any experiences that you encountered, whether childhood or up until now, to where you saw people in your family or close friends go through medical issues?
Oh yeah, man. There's medical issues all over the place, whether it be friends or family. So just having those people close to me now
Yeah,
has made me definitely more aware or more cognizant of things that are going on, even with me in my own body. Like it's making me, oh, am I okay?
yeah,
Is this something major, something minor? Let me go get checked out.
yeah,
It's definitely giving me more. Uh, willpower, more thought to say, you know what, let me go check this out instead of just brushing stuff off. And then you think about the fact that, hey, bro, you're not 15 no more. You're not 10 no more.
yeah, yeah.
It's not on somebody else. Now it's on you to make sure that you're good, to make sure you're taken care of. And, these bones start to crack and stuff.
Yeah, it's facts.
When you're 40, I'm talking about you hear your knee crack every once in a while. You got to go get checked out for real, because it's real life out here.
Oh, facts, man. I totally agree. Thank God I'm finally able to get some insurance,
Man,
with
what?
the legal man. So now I need to work on finding their primary care doctor, getting those appointments scheduled, getting the blood work done, getting the physical done to make sure that my insides are good. I mean, the word tells us, man, look at the outward appearance. I gotta look at the heart, man. What's going on in the inside is what I care about.
He should look at the outside.
You know what I'm saying? So a reflection of what's on the inside will show on the outside.
Right.
So we definitely gotta be more cautious.
Your boy Siobhan teases me.
Right.
He teases me because I just turned 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what happens when you turn 40? When it comes to medical.
Oh, I see where you're going.
You ain't gotta say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he teasing me about that. So he was like, hey, you get checked out yet, bro? I like if I did. I ain't telling you. No, you're not taking it. I'll figure that one out.
Oh
I
my
can do it.
God. That is too funny.
Hey, but he do be looking out for me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, you need that. You know it's jokingly.
Yeah.
It's Siobhan, your guy, man.
Yeah, he's just making sure I'm good. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, you definitely need that. That's hilarious. That's funny. Going back to this story, let's see where I want to go. I guess I'm speaking in the words of his father, Gary Brooks Sr., who's saying, I'm not going to say the actual words, but, he quote unquote said, this kid was playing with an effing brain tumor, Brooks Sr. told Clark. So, giving you guys some context, this is the interview with Brooks Sr., Brooks Jr., and Ron Clark. And it was very emotional, man. I advise y'all that's watching this show right now to go watch that episode, man. I was wrecked, man, to see Ron Clark break down like that, man, and have that type of emotional intelligence, knowing that he been knowing Gary Brooks Sr. for quite some time, and to see him and his family go through that, man, and be there with him, and he just broke down. But those who don't follow the Pivot Podcast, great podcast, go watch that episode, man. It's amazing. And so going back to Gary Brooks Sr., he said they drained fluid from his brain for 3 weeks. And you gave him a BC powder. BC powder, bro. Once again,
Here, take this little time out.
right? You be all right.
Yeah. That's wow.
BC powder. That's even more hurtful. This is the words of Gary Brooks Sr. To know that he came and asked for help. If it can be prevented, prevent it. If you tell someone my head is hurting, they've got to believe you because they can't see it. If it was my ankle or knee, you're going to see it.
Right.
That's powerful words, man, of his father, Gary Brooks Sr., just letting us know, man. If you think about the body itself, we can't physically see the brain, we can't physically see the heart, we can't physically see the organs. But at the end of the day, if I see my son going through these things and he's telling y'all that I need help and y'all consistently avoiding me, even though y'all can't see it on the outside,
Right.
take heed, man. Take heed to what, my son is trying to tell you guys. Y'all keep sending him on the field to play through a brain tumor, man.
Got to get the dub.
A brain tumor, right? Exactly. Going back to devaluing people, man, devaluing human beings just to get the dub. And so I think these are powerful words, man, from the father himself. What's your take on that, man? From watching that episode.
From watching that episode, just to see the father's emotion behind it,
Yeah.
knowing that he's walked, pretty much those same hallways, went through the same process.
Right.
It was emotional to see him, and how he felt about it.
Right.
It was like, well, like if that was my
exactly. Yeah.
It would have got real ugly. So I can understand his frustrations for sure. It was very sad to see so many people have been misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
And nobody ever. Here, let me take this a little higher until they did it themselves. Like, why didn't the school try to take it out?
Exactly. Sure. That's where it starts.
Yeah. Like BC powder. What was that gonna fix?
Nothing at all, bro.
And even with BC powder, as far as I know, it's a temporary fix.
It is very temporary.
So you putting a band-aid on it? What does that do? If it's happening on the inside, your band-aid ain't gonna do nothing.
It ain't gonna do nothing. You're absolutely right, bro. Absolutely right. Man, ain't gonna do nothing. That wound is still there.
What?
You don't take care of it.
I felt better for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I'm back to in pain. And you're gonna send me back after.
Exactly.
Here's the play.
It takes me to y'all know us, y'all know we believers and followers of Christ. It takes me to one of my favorite healing scriptures, which is Jeremiah 30:17, which says that God shall restore health back into us and heal us of all of our wounds. And when I first read the scripture a couple of years ago, Holy Ghost told me that if we don't, I'm trying to remember what he told me. It'll come back to me. But yeah, man, our health is very, very important. Yeah, we want the success. Yeah, we want the fame. Yeah, we want the achievements. But at the end of the day, if we're not taking care of our health, then what does all those other things do? What is the point of having all those things if you can't even enjoy it? If your health is declining.
Right. Our producer Troy said he would need about 10 minutes for somebody in that parking lot. He said with a couple people. I'm sorry, with a couple people in that parking lot. I was like, look, you right about it. You gotta see me.
Yeah. It came back to me. He told me if our wounds aren't treated properly, they won't heal properly. Basically, what he was letting me know was you can't go to a heart surgeon with a finger cut. Can't do nothing about it. You gonna walk up in there and they're gonna be like, "What you in here for? This little finger cut that you got, I can't do nothing for you. Why? Because that's not my specialty. I can't help you in that area. If you're dealing with some heart issues, mentally and physically, then that's maybe something I can work with.
Right.
But a little finger cut, nah, you in the wrong room, sir.
No,
man.
And it would make more sense to go to the person that specializes in that. Like, I'm not gonna come to you. This is just me. I'm not gonna come to you if I need help with cooking.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna come to you. Now, if it's a Bible verse, all right, let me see what we got on this. Let's see what you think about this. If it's a dance move, oh boy, how do you do that? Show me that one real quick. I know you know how to do it. Then I will come to you. But for cooking, so you got to know Go to the ones that specialize in whatever it is you need help.
I totally agree.
So if your mental health is beyond having a conversation with your friends, go get that counseling.
Yeah. I totally agree. 100%.
That's what it's there for. We out here not using it.
Yeah.
It's coming out of that text anyway.
Because
Because they're gonna keep taking
Yeah. You're right about it, sir. You're right about it. And the fact that you mentioned that, uh, yeah, I think it's necessary, man. I think that is a stigma in the African American community that I feel like we don't really take care of our mental health and go get therapy and see therapists to make sure that we're staying on course. I think that doesn't always have to be a negative thing. You can go see a therapist just to make sure you're staying locked in.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be something that's chaotic. So
just the regular check.
yeah, regular
Will it go a
check-in.
long way?
Yeah, it goes a long way. And so I think us as a family, Spotlight, me, you, Troy, Rail, the chat that we have doing a great job of just texting and say, hey, intro fan, how y'all doing? Everybody straight? You know what I'm saying? That goes a long way, man. People want to hear from you. People want to know that I'm valued, I'm seen.
Somebody cares.
Yeah, somebody cares. So yeah, that's definitely necessary. Uh, Going back to this episode, this is something that Ron Clark mentioned when he was in dialogue with Gary Brooks Sr. He says, you have to remember that your job is to take care of him, which his son, Clark, began. I highlighted, if you make this a personal vendetta against Brian Kelly, which is the coach for LSU, for example, if you make this about Big Greg instead of Little Greg, now you lose the power of his voice.
Right.
Yeah, now you lose the power.
Sure.
Yeah, now you're taking away from your son and putting everything on you, even though you have a valid reason to, because this is your son. Right. He is your seed. You're doing your best to take care of him. You're showing up, the long hours, being in the hospital, going through all different appointments, staying up late. I get that too. But like Ryan said, if you make this about you, then your son, now you take away the power of his voice. Yeah, so going on what he said, so you lose the power of his fight. That pain and that adversity and that trouble and that hard work that it took for him to just be able to get to where he is and the things his mom had to deal with. And then Brooks Senior said with conviction, yeah, you're right. So what's your take on that, man? Knowing that even though he is the father, he has every right to feel the way he feels. He has every right to stand up for his son. At the same time, there has to be a sense of humility to make sure that he doesn't go overboard.
So I'll say, just from watching that clip, the message hit way more hearing it from the son.
Yeah.
Because you get to hear how he struggled to talk.
Yes, I do remember that.
You get to see, his facial expressions. It was coming back to him, like he had started crying and everything. Like, I need to see that raw, real emotion of the person that's going through it.
Yes.
Because yes, he is his father, but you can't tell it like he can what he's been going through.
I totally agree.
You don't know the mental battles at night and things like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the message does get misconstrued or dialed down from his father trying to tell that story. It's just like when we were kids, play a game called telephone, and you played it with the whole room. Starts on one end, goes all the way to the other. When you started on that one end, you only had one time to repeat it. Just one. You don't get to tell me once. Whatever that message is on the end is completely different from when you started because it's coming from a different person.
That's so good. That's good. Boy, walking heavy.
That one's free.
That one's free. That's free, man. That must be a whole message, man. Faith comes by hearing. And hearing the word of God. That is.
What you got on that, sir?
That's awesome. Yeah. You hit it on the nail, man. Definitely hit it on the nail. Yeah, you wrapped that one up good. I can't even come back on that.
I left him speechless.
Yeah, you let me speechless on that one, bro. That was a great take. I love the way you put that together.
But I definitely encourage y'all to go and check out that particular story.
Yes.
As well as other interviews that are out there. Man, it's a powerful story and powerful interview. Just to see the raw, real emotion.
Yeah.
Because I've always known Ryan Clark as the player.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, you watch his sports, you know, shows and things like that.
Mhm.
So you get his perspective and the behind the scenes knowing that, hey, I went through that. But to see his raw emotion, it wasn't a touchdown celebration. It wasn't, oh, I picked this off and it was that celebration. It was like, this is my brother. This is his son. And I'm hurting for him. It was good. So y'all definitely go check that out. Hopefully I'll remember to. I'll put the link in the chat and all that kind of stuff.
Please, man. Yeah,
go check that out.
Go check that episode out, man. To put a wrap on is some more words that Ryan Clark gave out. He says, let's make sure. He said, all that is going to make his story when he's standing in front of a group. Let me go back a little bit. Clark foresees Brooke Jr. one day speaking to young kids stricken with cancer. All that is going to make his story when he's standing in front of a group of kids who have tumors, who are riddled with cancer, who want to be able to stand up and walk, he said. Then I highlighted, if you make this a circus, he won't get to be a king. He's a king. In the words of Ryan Clark, if you make this a circus, you won't get to be a king. You won't get to live up to uh, what his goal and vision is, in spite of going through those elements, in spite of trying to recover, in spite of learning how to talk again, in spite of learning how to walk again, in spite of getting his strength back in his body. You know, if you make this about you, then your son will have an opportunity to minister to other people that are going through similar situations.
Yeah, don't treat me like that. Let me tell my own story. And like I said, the message coming from him is
completely different. His way harder.
You got to hear the struggle. So just to bring awareness to those different, you know, entities being medical, like let's do a better job of being thorough and checking out all avenues. Because man, you never know, you change somebody's life forever.
True,
and not necessarily a good one.
That's true. I totally agree. Pivoting, making the pivot, man. We're gonna go right to our next topic. This is a heavy one as well. Uh, it's a documentary on Netflix that I had me and the team watch. It's called Untold Shooting Guards, and this documentary is about two former NBA players, Gilbert, who we all know, well-known guy in the sports space, has his own podcast now, having great success with it. Played with the Washington Wizards, kind of put them on the map. I can't remember what team he got drafted to before that. Gilbert Arenas. We'll probably have to look it up. Yeah, but yeah, well-known guy in the sports world. Flip side of there, Javaris Crittenton, who he played with as well with Gilbert Arenas with the Washington Wizards. Before he gets to the Wizards, he's a guy from the inner city of Atlanta, raised by his mother, raised by other people who were in the city of Atlanta. Rough neighborhood where he was, but you got people who are in those environments. You have other people on the outside looking in that can help steer you in the right direction. So, he came to be a great basketball player. Got drafted to the Lakers, left there, and then played with Gilbert, with the Washington Wizards. But kind of give you guys some context of who Javaris is in his early life. Crittenton was born to Sonia Dixon, his mother, in Atlanta, Georgia. He attended Southwest Atlanta Christian Academy, where as a high school sophomore, he played alongside Dwight Howard. I thought that was pretty cool to know that they played basketball together. We all know Dwight Howard in the sports world, success, defensive player of the year, all those different things. NBA 75 team, so great dude. Crittenton and Howard led Southwest Atlanta to victory in the GHSA Class A state championship that season. As a junior in 2005, Crittenton averaged 28 points a game, 7.5 assists, 8.2 rebounds. He once again led Southwest Atlanta to the GHSA Class A finals, where they lost to the powerhouse Serengo Plays. So, give you guys some context of his upbringing and where he played at in high school. Moving forward, following the season, he was named McDonald's All American. He was also named Mr. Georgia Basketball by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Also, Crittenton carried a 3.5 GPA in high school and was a member of the Future Business Leaders of America and Senior Club. So, just want to kind of walk you guys through some of his upbringing and successes in high school. Uh, you can see, man, he's a well-rounded player. Uh, he was a dog. He was skilled. He had athleticism, for his size. So, just a great dude. Before I go on, uh, what are some of the things you kind of share about Crittenton? Oh, just Gilbert, or just in the context of
So I guess as far as up until this point, just listening to Crittenton, he's very genuine and like everything was new to him when it comes to the league. So like he didn't come in with like a big head. He was thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah,
And was very open about the fact that he came from the hood.
yeah, very open.
Which is the story for a lot of these players. Like this was to get me out. Got himself out. So I thought that was commendable. You know what? You put in that work, even when you didn't think you could make it. Your coach was the first one to tell you.
Yeah,
in high school, you're gonna go to the league. With the way you're playing, keep working with me. You're gonna go to the league. And he didn't believe it. Thought he was crazy.
That's true.
And then he made it. So it's very interesting to hear. Like you didn't even believe in yourself at that time. But you came in humble. But the guy on the other side,
yeah, Gilbert, man.
Gilbert didn't come in so humble.
Nah,
Gilbert came in expecting to get drafted number 1,
right?
And all of that. I thought it was interesting. They talked about him doing the interviews during the what do they call it? So basically he's doing the tryout. Everybody's getting to look at him and all of that. And part of that process is doing interviews.
Right. They definitely
does an interview with all the news people.
Right.
And the guy asked him, he was like, all right, so what plan on doing? What's the goal here? You got to the NBA, what's the goal?
That dude be for a little
what?
Yeah.
And then he said, I can do two things. I can either double down or I can back out. And he's like, I'm not one to back out, so I doubled down. He was like, I'm gonna be an international.
After the film. Yeah, I was dying, bro. Yeah, Gilbert
Arenas is a character. Yeah. I've only known him as a baller, and then of course, his interviews and podcasts and things like that after the fact, so you can kind of see more of the other side. Yeah. But yeah, that guy there, man.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop when I heard that. And I think it just goes back to how he was in his childhood, though. From watching that documentary, he was a very outgoing, playful guy. Yeah. Just around people with all jokes, and so his personality never changed when he came to the league. So he didn't care at all. Even watching that documentary, getting drafted. I can't remember what team he got drafted to, but I know after that he left and went to Washington Wizards and put them on the map. Right. Agent Zero, fans are coming in, they're getting publicity, they're getting notoriety, people are watching because of how great of a player he was. But on the outside of it, in the locker room, things were shaking up, man. Things were a little different. Some of the clips they were showing, putting people in headlocks and. Like, come on, Gilbert. You run across the wrong person. That's not
everybody don't play like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So
you put some people in the headlock and they get defensive.
Yeah.
They gonna get a flashback and think that they and somebody else that was
right. That's
and now you see yourself on the floor. Like that's wild.
Yeah.
He was a trip.
Yeah. It was definitely a trip. So give you guys some context to speed you guys up. On December 21st, 2009, Crittenton and teammate Gilbert Arenas were involved in a locker room confrontation involving guns. In a recent interview, former Washington Wizards teammate Ron Butler stated that you never know, and that's the crazy thing about it. When questioned if there was going to be a trigger pulled in the incident between Crittenton and Arenas. So just pausing right there, man. What was your view? What were you thinking? What were you feeling when they talked about how it all transpired when they were on the plane and playing the cards? And I believe Gilbert Arenas was asleep. Crittenton was playing with someone else,
Right.
and Gilbert Arenas wakes up, and then him and Crittenton are going back and forth. So, what was your initial reaction?
First off, my initial reaction, nobody was talking to you.
Yeah,
Nobody was playing with you. None of that. But you interjected yourself into what was going on over here. Go back to sleep.
yeah,
Go back to sleep. We'll wake you up when we get there, whatever. But that had nothing to do with you.
nothing.
And then you don't know me. Like all the other people you've been playing games with, you've been cracking jokes with.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Keep that over there.
Yeah,
You don't know me well enough to play games with me. Because like I'm a certain person, and this is just being honest, I'm a certain way around certain people.
exactly. That's me too.
Because I'm comfortable with those people.
Those people.
So the always got jokes, laughing, talking, talk noise, be sarcastic, whatever. The people that I'm close to will get that. But if I don't know you like that, I'm not going to give you that side of me because you're not going to know that I'm being sarcastic because you haven't been around me long enough. You're going to take me seriously, and now we both fighting.
Yeah.
And then what are you supposed to go to? So same situation. You don't know this person.
You don't know.
He knew on the block. He probably already feel like he got to prove himself.
Thanks.
And now here you come challenging
him.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, I guess it's going to be me and you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I agree, Bo. For me, I'm the same way. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, man, I'm a very relaxed, laid back dude.
Right.
You can ask my wife, it takes a lot for me to see red. It takes a lot for me to get to that point. You really have to have made me mad or did something to allow me to get to that level. The people who know me, man, I'm very chill, cool, calm, collected. I laugh, I joke, like I mentioned, but that's based on the people who've been around me long enough. But if it's people who are new on the scene or new on the block and don't really know me like that, then and you're joking around, you're the type, like Gilbert Arenas was, then it might be some issues.
It's all smoke.
It's all smoke, man.
And I'm gonna start the fire.
It's all smoke with the fire. Huh? So yeah, man, you got to be cautious, man, of how you interact with certain people. I always tell people, for me, I learned to build rapport with people first. You build rapport with me. That way you can know what I like, what I don't like. You know how I respond. You know how I relate and react to certain things. And so, in the context of that, in that playing situation, Javar's like, okay, you're playing now. We're ready to show you. And so I think it went far when Gilbert Arenas literally, you get to the locker room and he has the gun on the seat and has the note, with the different type of guns that were there.
You got two guns sitting there.
Yeah.
In your locker room?
He says pick one.
Pick one.
And so now, right? And so now Javaris gets in the locker room. He sees this. So now you'd have probably created some emotions, some old experiences, knowing that I've been raised in the hood, knowing that I probably can relate to stuff like this. I've been in the mud.
Now you challenging me.
Yeah, now you're trying to challenge my manhood.
And I'm a serious person, so I'm gonna take you serious.
Exactly. Yeah. And then not only that, didn't even choose one of his weapons. He had his own.
I brought my own gun to the gunfight.
Yeah, he had his own, man.
He said I don't need that one. I got my own. I said, you messing wrong.
He done messed with the wrong person, man. So it's just like, as men, we have to be cautious, man, of who we're playing with, like that. And so, yeah, man, you really got to be locked in on how you get to know certain dudes.
And I find myself doing that even when it comes to coworkers.
Yeah,
dealing with new coworkers, you got to fill them out first.
Yeah. You got
to kind of see where they at.
Yeah.
Just so you kind of know how to deal with that person. Be around that person, how to deal with that person. find a place where you can relate. Because if you can't, you just can't. It's okay.
Yeah.
But don't come over here playing with me. But I'm always a serious person.
Yeah.
I'm taking everybody for their word because I don't even know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All I can go by is what you said. You said you're gonna bring some guns and it's gonna go down. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna take that for what it is. I heard that in the street and it went down.
Yeah. Yeah. Question for you, man. In regards to the context of all of that has happened, as men, why do you think we allow so much ego to get in the way of, trying to prove our manhood, trying to prove our masculinity? Why do you think ego is such a problem?
I feel like we fight for that our whole life. It starts from when we're kids, because as a kid, oh, you can't cry, man. You're supposed to cry. So you've been chasing this idea that people have put in your head of what a man is supposed to be. Oh, a man takes charge. A man ain't gonna let nobody punk him and all of this.
Yeah.
So when you have all these things built up of, okay, here's my manuscript of what a man looks like, and I'll tell anybody I know that I'm that dude. I'm about to check all these boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna start with you. So yeah, when you challenge me like that, then I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I can believe that it escalated that quickly. The crazy part to me is, bro, you in the NBA.
Yeah.
You only get one shot to
You only
do
get
it,
one shot.
and there's people that are higher up that account for millions of dollars that are at your disposal if you do right. I ain't saying this ain't no, oh, I'm gonna act right just because you got the money. No, that's not what I'm saying. But let's be mindful of that. If that's the goal, if I'm even taking this money to go do something else with it,
Right.
even if it's just for me, because I every day will go to work. Oh, I'm just trying to provide for me, or some people are trying to provide for their families.
Yeah.
That's my goal. So when I get in that locker room, all I'm thinking of, yeah, I'm just trying to provide for the family.
Right.
So I'm come in, see these guns sitting here. Oh, bro, you trick.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah.
That's not him. He's a
different.
I'm looking at, hey, I'm trying to keep this check going. You tripping, bro.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna go take. Hey, coach. Hey, boy, left these over here for me. I didn't want to do it, coach.
No, thanks.
I'm snitching. I don't care what y'all say.
No, you're right, but you hit the nail on the
money.
money.
This check going.
Right?
I ain't never seen this many zeros. I'm trying to keep this check going.
Exactly. I think that's the whole root of everything that happened in that documentary, man. It's like, as African American males, it's slim to none that most of us go, from college to pro, man. Everybody don't make it. If they do make it, they don't last long. So,
and then, like you were saying earlier, the lifespan of a career.
Yeah. So
based on how brutal it is, like isn't just money all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to what you mentioned, if you're in the pros, make sure that while you're in there, you're learning how to properly steward your money. You're stewarding your relationship, stewarding, the season that God has you in, because you won't have that forever. You won't be. There's not too many people who will have a career like LeBron James, who can play 2 decades. That's slim to none. I don't know if people don't have that opportunity right there. So while you're in there, man, make sure that you're locked in. Yeah, also, man. So turn it into something else, build a nonprofit, build something, man, that you can call your own and pass down as a legacy, to your family. I do want to pivot. Another thing that I saw in the documentary. So Javaris, one thing I learned about him, he's a homebody. We talked about that a lot. Being from any city of Atlanta, his mother talked about raising him. I don't believe his father was there a lot compared to Gilbert reading situation. He had both parents, so that can be a different dynamic too. Right? And so Javaris, he leaves Georgia Tech, gets drafted to the Lakers. Now we know, and I heard this. I feel like Kobe said. I hear this all the time, man, from people from California, from LA. I mean, I hear it from Tamika all the time. It's like, just because you see the glamorous, the palm trees, the beaches, all these different exciting things in California, doesn't necessarily mean that that's not going to come with some baggage or some areas that you shouldn't be in, or some people who are affiliated with certain gangs. And so, watching that documentary, he gets drafted to LA. and he talked about, wanting to start in game one, his first game, season opener, I believe, for LA Lakers. He gets there and they bench him. He don't get no PT.
No
He don't get no
PT.
playing
So
time.
sit over there and watch.
He on the bench. He's just sitting there chilling, man. And as time goes on, he talked about how he really wrestled with that. He was really broken and heartbroken, feeling like, man, the coach don't value me. Man, I put the work in. I played in high school. Look at my numbers. I played for Georgia Tech. Look at my numbers, and I get to the Lakers, and I feel like you guys don't value the work that I put in. I'm sitting at the end of the bench. I'm in street clothes. I ain't getting no clock, and so internally, they broke him. And, to me, that's a spirit of loneliness when you feel like you're not being valued, based on the work that you put in. And so, for you, what would you say in regards to men who uh, struggle with something like that, knowing that they have a goal in front of them, something that they're trying to achieve, but yet it doesn't go the way that they want it to go?
That's a solid question. I would say you keep doing what you're doing. Just continue to strive for better, and the right door open.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Because to get thrown out there to LA, that might not have been your door, or whatever it is. Like you may not be an NBA player. It may be you're on the ground level at a corporation that you would love to run one day or run something like it. Keep doing what you're doing.
yeah,
Take in everything you can, learn what you can, so that when that next door opens, now you have value. You come in with value,
Mm.
and somebody's gonna see it. Yeah, this person didn't, but somebody will.
yeah.
It can be discouraging to say, "Oh man, shoot, I was a temp for I think it was like 9 years."
Yeah,
You know anything about a
Yeah,
temp service, bro? That's week to week and
yeah.
get ended any moment.
Any moment.
And I was over here just dedicated.
No,
And I was like, hey, you just keep paying me. Well, I'm gonna keep showing up.
Yeah.
So and that's always my motto. Just keep showing up, and I did, and it turned into getting hired on, in the warehouse, and now that I found my way into the office, like you just gotta keep showing up, keep learning,
Yeah,
learn what you can, retain it, so that you can use it wherever God leads you.
yeah, yeah.
What's your take on
I would say find community, find people
it? Community.
that can hold you accountable, that can pour into you. Bishop talked about. I mean, you were there every Monday night locker room, iron sharpens
The
iron.
people weren't there. Something what happened.
For those who wasn't there,
What you can share, how we do. You can't share everything, but yeah, what you can share.
Yeah,
Tell me.
Monday night men's locker room, man, it was fire. It was amazing. I don't know if it was the word or if it was the barbecue.
I think it was a little bit of both.
I think it was a little bit of
fun.
fun. Yeah, the barbecue was fire, but it was a packed house, man. And Bishop was just breaking down, the scripture of iron sharpening iron. And one thing that he said was, when two hard things come together, rubbing against one another, it's going to be some friction.
Mhm.
And then out of that friction, there's going to be some heat. And he said, a lot of us as men, we avoid that heat. We avoid those heated situations. We don't want to deal with them. We don't want to talk. We don't want to open up. And I think that's something that should be talked about, and we should work towards doing as men in general, not just black men, but just men in general, sitting down and having those uncomfortable conversations,
Sure.
so we can grow and develop. And he also talked about the scripture in Proverbs, I think it's 17:17, where it says that a brother is born out of adversity. And he said, if you're really my brother, then you would find a way to help me navigate through my troubles. Somewhere in those words, basically what he was saying is, if you see me falling off the deep end, if you see me making bad decisions, if you see me drunk as a skunk, if you see me doing things that are out of the ordinary, you should be the brother. If you say you love me, like you say you do, you should be that brother and come to me and say, hey, bro, I see you spiraling out of control. What can I do to help?
Right.
And I think that's one thing that I'm learning to do, man, is just ask questions. What can I do to help? What's going on? Talk to me. And if you just got to sit there and listen and just allow them to vent and open up and share their heart, I think that's necessary. Well, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, accountability, it's necessary. Kind of like what Bishop got us doing right now.
Find you an accountability
find
partner.
you,
somebody you can be real with.
Yeah. For you, what's your take on accountability and how important do you think it is?
I think that's so important, man. It keeps you focused, keeps you grounded, keeps you focused, keeps you level headed for sure.
Yeah.
Just to know that somebody else sees you, somebody else is worried about you, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
That's motivation within itself. Like, I gotta finish this so I can go back and tell Willie I finished it.
That's good. Yeah, it's good.
Because sometimes all we need, even as men, is just a pat on the back. Hey, bro, keep going. You doing your thing.
Yeah.
But you won't ever get that if we don't ever talk about it.
True. I totally agree.
So you gotta find you somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And somebody. This would made something real clear, and I love the way he said it. You have to find you somebody that you can talk to that's gonna tell you you're wrong. You don't need to find that person that good job every time.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
on the
man.
side of the street. Good job every time. Like, you need to find that person that's gonna be real with you. Hey, brother, you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
this isn't you. This isn't the Montez. I know. If somebody tells me that, oh
yeah.
Hold on, wait, I went too far.
Mm-hmm.
Let me figure out where I went wrong, and it'll make you want to course correct. You gotta have somebody in your corner that's gonna make you course correct.
Yeah, facts.
Because if you don't do that, then we both go in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. You just walking with me.
Exactly. I totally agree with that, bro. 100%. Going back to Javaris, his experience in LA. One thing that I saw in the documentary as well, he was also trying to find a sense of community, but in the wrong way. And what I mean is, he's in LA. He has no family. He has no friends. No one he can be accountable to. And so he's dealing with these emotions of not getting the playing time with the Lakers. And so what does he do? He goes to the streets of LA. He starts partying a lot. He starts getting involved in the wrong crowds. He starts getting affiliated with these different gangs or people who he so-called, quote unquote, thinks will be his community. And so I think that's another sense of abandonment and going back to that loneliness, man. Trying to find community, but sometimes we can find community in the wrong way. And so I think that's when
the wrong
community, man. So that's when that spirit of discernment has to kick in and say, even though I'm in this hard and dark season, even though it's not going the way I think it should go, I still have to be conscious of who I connect myself to.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, as a man or anybody, is it okay or normal for your community to change?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
Do tell.
Where can I start? Man, it just goes all the way back for me personally, high school, man. Like, I think I talked about it on one of our earlier shows. Like, my life was the reflection of one of Kendrick Lamar's album, Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay.
That was my life. I was this good kid, but I was living in the Mad City. I was trying to
shout out to the phone.
Yeah. Shout out to Fort Worth. That's why I'm born and raised. It's my city. Yeah, man. Just trying to fit in with different people. Trying to fit in what we thought or what we know to be quote unquote the cool kids. But lo and behold, the things that I was doing wasn't getting me anywhere. Hanging around the wrong crowd. The drunkenness, the parties, all these different things. It was just the ill intent. And so as I got older, my senior year, I get to ODY High School, and that's when I meet Brandon. And Brandon stayed in the same trailer parks. And so we built their relationship there, and I meet Bobby, at Wyatt as well. And so thus from those guys started to become, friends, and then it turned into brotherhood. And then we all graduate. I'm a year after them. That's when we formed the ministry Neon Flame. And so forming the ministry of Neon Flame brought that brotherhood closer and it built that bond and it was stronger. And it also strengthened our relationship, with Christ because of the doors that God was opening. So do I believe communities change? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I don't think, how can I say this? I think Darius Daniels said it this way. It's like, you got to be aware of when to change seats with certain people. If you're the driver of the bus, you got to be aware of certain people that don't longer serve you. They gotta go to the back. They gotta go to the back of the bus. But the ones that you really, really know, or your brothers or your sisters or whoever that have a influence in your life positively, and you move those people to the front of the bus. You exchange those seats. So no, absolutely, bro. I
Don't be
believe.
afraid to change the
Don't
seat.
don't be afraid to change seats. That is a word for somebody that's watching this. Don't be afraid, man, to change your community.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid at all, man. So yeah, I definitely believe that people, your community, your circle does change. Yeah. Any other words that you would want to share before we put a wrapper on the show?
I don't know, man. I think we've covered
Yes.
probably a good bit of information, and just the importance of finding that community.
Yeah.
But also, like, don't be so quick to think that everybody's just like me,
Yeah.
because they're not. They came from different backgrounds. They had different struggles. I can't come to you cracking jokes when you take everything serious, because you're gonna think I'm serious. But I haven't taken the time to get to know you well enough
Yes.
to say, okay, this is a serious guy. I can't really crack my jokes. When we get out here on this court in this business, I know you got me.
Yeah.
But those are things we don't take the time to do.
Yeah.
To learn other people. We so worried about everybody seeing us sometimes. Sometimes too worried about people seeing us. Let me learn who you are.
Thanks. I agree with that. I want to share from the live audience.
Go ahead. What we got?
Put a wrapper on. Guy Darrell says community should change based on God's calling and will for your life. You have people in your life from childhood or wherever or whenever, if they are leading you down the wrong path, you should definitely change or guard your heart and let some things go. Then you reference 1 Corinthians 15. Be not deceived. Evil companionships corrupt good morals. You know you always preaching. In the back seat. You always
You got to move one to the front.
Move one to the front. You are a front row seater. A little bit more that he shared. We live off secular ideas and concepts in today's society, which leads us to believe this way of being is strong and manly. But the strongest and most powerful thing you can do is be vulnerable, absolutely, and not let it control you. Speak your piece, but show compassion with empathy, as well as sympathy and things like that. Jesus himself wept when Lazarus, his friend, passed away, even though he knew it was part of the plan of God. Don't look at the small and unpopular beginning, but know you're there for a reason and just be ready. Dropping gems from the crowd. Dropping gems. No, it's crazy he said that. As I close the show, I was watching, the episode with Preston and Jackie, and he referenced. I think Jackie asked him a question. What does Preston Perry relationship look like in regards to Jesus and man? And he talked about the story of Jesus and Lazarus. Even though Jesus already knew, that Lazarus was in this place, he knew that he was, uh, there for 4 days, all those different things. At the same time, he still had vulnerability and the human emotion to, feel sorrow, feel pain, feel grief. And so I think Jesus is the prime example, man, of what those vulnerabilities look like. Also go to the Garden of Gethsemane, leading up to his crucifixion. Right. He said, take this cup, away from me. I ain't trying to suffer for these folks. I ain't doing nothing wrong. I was betrayed. I was an innocent man. Y'all should have kept Barabbas in prison. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't God's plan. It wasn't God's intent. We would think because Barabbas committed the murder and committed the crime that he would be punished and locked up. But they freed him. But it was necessary. And but if Barabbas isn't free, then Jesus don't die. So yeah, that's just it had to happen. Free Barabbas. I can say it. Free Barabbas. But yeah, man, that is it, man. So that's a great show, bro. Today was great, man.
Yes,
I just wanted to take the time, man, to lock in on mental health, emotional health. Those things are important when it comes to us.
It's important in all areas.
Yeah, all areas, man. When it comes to us as men, things we overlook, things we don't really sit down and talk about and have dialogue about. Of course, we can always talk about, other things that are going on in the sports world. The NBA Finals is here, which we'll get to that at a later date. But we wanted to really lock in and hone in on the mental health aspect of how men operate. But yeah, man, y'all stay tuned for the next show. This is Sports Therapy. This is your guy Willie Beeman, my guy to my left. You know what it is. We will see you guys in the next show. Peace.